Hello friends, this video on sources of energy part 13 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. Let us now look at the next form of non-conventional energy, that is nuclear energy. So as the name suggests, what do you think it would be? Energy from nucleus, right? So the energy obtained from the nucleus of an atom is known as nuclear energy. So what do you think? How much energy would the nucleus of an atom contain? Because what is atom? Atom is like whatever we see around us, that is all matter. That is made up of small substances called molecules. Each molecule is made up of atom, and then each atom consists of nucleus. So you just imagine how small that nucleus is. So we see that we can obtain energy from that nucleus of the atom, and that is known as nuclear energy. So this picture actually shows the basic composition of an atom. It has nucleus at the center, and the nucleus consists of protons, the positively charged particles, and neutrons, the neutral particles. And around the nucleus you have the negatively charged electrons revolving in orbits, right? So this is the basic structure of the atom. So let us quickly talk about the composition of the nucleus, because before we study about nuclear energy, we should have a quick review on the composition of nucleus. So nucleus consists of protons and neutrons. So protons are the positively charged particles, and neutrons are neutral particles, right? So what do we mean by atomic number of an atom? Atomic number is nothing but the total number of protons present in that atom. Similarly, when we talk about atomic mass, we mean the total number of protons and neutrons. That is often known as mass number. So these are some of the small terminologies related to nucleus and atom. I'm just mentioning it because when we talk about nuclear energy, we will often use these terms. So when I say atomic number, I mean the total number of protons present in that atom. Similarly, when I talk about mass number, I am talking about the total number of protons plus neutrons. Now, why are we not considering electrons here? Because electron is not a part of the nucleus. Electrons are revolving outside the nucleus. So protons and neutrons are sometimes together known as nucleons. So this is a term which is used for protons and neutrons collectively. They are together known as nucleons. Now let us look at what is nuclear energy. It is the energy obtained from the nucleus by either breaking a heavy nucleus into two relatively lighter nuclei, or by combining two lighter nuclei to form a heavy nucleus. So that means there are two processes during which a huge amount of energy is released. So one is when a heavy nucleus splits up into two lighter nuclei. The second one is when two lighter nuclei combine to form a heavy nucleus. So in both of these cases, a huge amount of energy is released, and we call this energy as nuclear energy. Why do I call it nuclear energy? That's because in this entire process, the only things which are involved are the nucleus. So because of the splitting of the nucleus or because of the joining of the nucleus, so much of energy is getting emitted, and that is why it is known as nuclear energy. So this nuclear energy has become a possible solution to the energy crisis of the present world. As I have been mentioning since the beginning of this lesson, that we need so much of energy. I mean, since the population of the world is growing, the needs of the people are increasing. I mean, with each passing day, science and technology are making more improvements. So we are using more technical devices in our life. So we need, and for everything we need energy. I mean, for everything you need electricity. You use your laptop, you use your mobile phones, whether you use your computers. So whatever you see around yourselves, they all need electricity. And for electricity, you need some energy, some source of energy. So if we talk of fossil fuels, they are all non-renewable sources. That means they will get exhausted in over a period of time, because we have limited stock. So this nuclear energy looks like a possible solution to the energy crisis problem. right? So let us now talk about the two types of nuclear reactions that actually take place. Like just now I mentioned, right? There are two ways by which a huge amount of energy is produced. Now, these two types are nuclear fission and nuclear fusion. Now, as the name suggests, fission means breaking up. So, in fission, what happens? There is one heavy nucleus, and this heavy nucleus will split up into two lighter nuclei. So, with this process, a huge amount of energy will be released, and that energy will be utilized for many useful purposes. Similarly, in case of nuclear fusion, fusion means when two things fuse together, when two things combine together. So in this case, if you see two hydrogen atoms, they fuse together and they form deuterium. Again, this deuterium and this hydrogen fuse together and they form hydrogen 3, that is tritium. Then again, this tritium and this tritium combine together and then they form helium, right? So this is how the reaction takes place. Now, another interesting fact which I'll tell you is that this nuclear fusion reaction takes place inside the sun, and this is how the energy is produced in the sun. We receive so much of sunlight, right? So we can imagine how much energy is getting produced inside the sun. So to your surprise, this huge amount of energy that is getting produced inside the sun is because of the nuclear fusion reaction which is taking place inside the sun. Okay, so now let us quickly talk about nuclear fission. Now, when I talk of nuclear fission reaction, there are again two categories of reaction. One is called uncontrolled chain reaction. The other one is controlled chain reaction. Chain reaction means the reaction keeps continuing. So it is a chain of reaction. Controlled and uncontrolled are the two types of nuclear fission reaction, and we will see how a controlled reaction is used for useful purposes and how an uncontrolled reaction can be used for destructive purposes. So let us talk about the uncontrolled chain reaction. So in an uncontrolled chain reaction, what happens? The reaction is uncontrolled and rapid. The reaction looks somewhat like this. You have one heavy nucleus, it splits up to form two lighter nuclei. Now, with in each of these processes, you get neutrons. Now, how will this reaction initiate? In order to initiate a reaction, you need some agent which will just initiate the reaction, and that agent is nothing but this neutron. You will study about this nuclear fission and fusion in detail in class 12, but for now, just to make you understand the basic concept, I'm mentioning this fact. So in order to start this reaction, a neutron is needed. Now what happens when this heavy nucleus breaks into two lighter nuclei? Three neutrons are also emitted. Now, each of these neutrons are again capable of initiating one more fission reaction. So, each of this neutron will again initiate one fission reaction. So, now what happened? See, so now you had three neutrons. That means three fission reaction happened as a result. Now, each of this reaction again gave birth to three neutrons. So that means earlier you started with just one neutron, then you got three neutrons, and now you got 9 neutrons, right? Now again, each of these neutrons will initiate a reaction. So what is happening in this case? The amount of energy which was released in the first step, if you compare it with the total energy which is released in the second step, what do you see? The amount of energy is increasing. So that means with each step, the amount of energy will keep on increasing. So that is why this reaction is called uncontrolled. There is no control to this reaction. With passage of time, the amount of energy will increase and the energy is also uncontrolled. So this kind of chain reaction actually takes place inside an atom bomb. So that is the destructive form, because when your energy is not in a controlled manner, what will happen? The bomb blast will take place because the energy is uncontrolled. So this will not be of much use. Instead, it is for destruction, right? So that is an uncontrolled chain reaction. Now let us look at the controlled chain reaction. In a controlled chain reaction, the reaction is controlled and steady. How? In this reaction, what do? They have implemented some mechanism by which the three neutrons, in this case also three neutrons are produced, because here you started with one neutron. This neutron will give rise to three neutrons, but here they have implemented a mechanism by which two of these neutrons will get absorbed. I mean, they will put some such elements which are capable of absorbing neutrons. So those substances will absorb the extra neutrons such that only one neutron is left over. So again one neutron is left, so that means the same reaction will take place. 3 neutrons will be formed. Again the extra 2 neutrons will be absorbed by the neutron absorbing substance. So that is how the reaction will be in a controlled manner, because every time only one neutron will be produced and one neutron will be capable of initiating one fission, right? So the amount of energy released in this case is also controlled. So this kind of controlled chain reaction or controlled fission reaction takes place in a nuclear reactor. So what is a nuclear reactor? Like how we have the ocean thermal energy conversion plants, how we have the hydroelectric power station. Similarly, we have nuclear reactor which actually converts or which actually helps us to harness the nuclear energy. And then this nuclear energy is used for many different purposes like electricity generation and so on. So nuclear reactor is basically an apparatus or an arrangement wherein your nuclear energy is harnessed in a controlled manner. So as I mentioned before, nuclear reactors application is it is used to produce electricity. At the same time, you have different destructive applications as well. For example, your atom bombs. So let us quickly talk about nuclear reactor. However, I will not talk about it in detail. You will study about it in class 12. So nuclear reactor is an arrangement to generate electricity making use of nuclear fission. To be very specific, making use of controlled nuclear fission. So how do you make the nuclear fission controlled? I mean, the requirements for controlled nuclear fission is that you should have some substance which should be able to absorb the excess neutrons, right? So the first thing is that one thing is neutrons to be slowed down. The second thing is excess neutrons to be absorbed. The neutrons which are getting emitted, if they have extremely high speed, in that case also they will initiate the next series of reactions very fast, right? So first thing is you should slow down the neutrons. Secondly, you should absorb the excess neutrons. So these two things are taken care of in the construction of a nuclear reactor. The nuclear reactor has been constructed in such a way that the excess neutrons get absorbed. I mean, they have introduced some neutron absorbing substance, and also they have introduced some substances which slow down the fast moving neutrons. Let us now look at the advantages and disadvantages of nuclear reactor. Let us talk of the advantages first. The energy release is extremely large, and that is why we say that it looks like as if nuclear energy can be a possible solution to the present energy crisis of this world. Need fuel in extremely small quantity. In this case, as I mentioned, you saw we were using that uranium atom with which fission was taking place. So the amount of uranium which you need is very small. So with very small amount of fuel, you are able to generate huge amount of energy. Now let us look at the disadvantages. Spent fuel is highly radioactive and extremely hazardous to all life forms. Even though we need uranium in very small quantity, but uranium is extremely harmful to all forms of life. To all kinds of life, it is very harmful. So now dealing with that harmful and poisonous fuel in itself is a disadvantage, right? Accumulation of radioactive waste. If you look at a nuclear reactor, wherever you have the nuclear reactor, the waste products which get emitted by the nuclear reactor, they are all radioactive wastes. What is radioactive? Radioactivity is basically a phenomenon in which a heavy nucleus splits up into smaller nucleus. So that phenomenon is known as radioactivity. So anyways, radioactive waste means these radioactive wastes will again have the capability of throwing radioactive radiation, and these radiations are not good for life forms. High cost of installation of nuclear power plant. It is not very reasonable. So a huge amount of money has also to be involved in order to do the setup of the nuclear power plant. Limited availability of uranium. In this case, the generation of electricity is completely dependent on the small amount of fuel. So even though we need the fuel in small amount, but that much amount of fuel has to be there. Let's say we see that uranium in itself is very has very limited abundance in nature, so it is already present in small quantity. So even though we need very small amount of uranium, sometimes getting that also becomes difficult.
Thank you. Please visit examfear.com to watch free educational videos, try free online tests, get the best quality study materials, study from the best tutors and mentors, and much more. Thank you once again.